three-way battle for the championship, and I'm terrified. But before we even begin to dig into all of this, how's your week been?
Week's been actually pretty good. It started off with an amazing race. Just fun, exciting, and been just a pretty good week. How's Nick been? How's Chess been?
I've been really good. I'll start with the non-chess stuff. I've gotten back into comic books. I was never really a comic kid growing up. I didn't really get into comics until right before COVID hit. I started out reading the original Spider-Man from like 1964, and it was always really cheesy and campy, but still had enough good enough writing to keep me around. And it's really fun to kind of see the introduction of all these characters and villains and everything, and see how that goes. So I bought Marvel Unlimited. It's everything's a subscription now. So instead of just buying issues like I could 5 years ago when I was last into comics, I just subscribed to their annual plan. They were doing a Black Friday sale. So $55, I get every comic ever made by Marvel for the next year. So I started with Spider-Verse and I read all of those. I'm currently in a pretty big Guardians of the Galaxy kick. And I have started with the 2008 Guardians of the Galaxy because that's the first time, I believe that's the first time you see the Guardians from the movie, the Marvel movie that came out,
Okay,
because the
yeah.
original Guardians of the Galaxy run didn't include Star-Lord and Gamora and Drax and Rocket and all of that. So in 2008, when they kind of brought it back, this is how they set it up. And it's really fun. It's really cool. It's a cool space opera kind of vibe. So yeah, been super into comics. I've been reading those at night instead of watching videos on my phone until I fall asleep, which I think I and my fiance both like a lot better. As far as chess goes, I made it back to 400 elo in rapid, the format I play yesterday, and I hit 410 today, but it doesn't really count because the opponent that I played, they made one move and then sat for, I don't know,
A long
10
time.
minutes. They sat for 10 minutes, and then I think the game eventually kicked them. So I won, and because they were rated 476, I got 10
Hey, way
added
to
to my elo.
go!
And part of me is conflicted when something like that happens because it's like I didn't earn it, but also, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're starting a game play, and you played one move. But I also went back and looked at that guy's game history because that's the thing you can do on chess.com. And I think I would have beat him anyway, based off of how he plays.
Huh. I was like, maybe he got something came up in his life. Maybe he was watching the race or something, watching the replay.
Maybe. I thought that too, but then he played a game right after the one with me, so I don't know what
Oh,
happened. I know
weird.
you were trying I know you were trying to pivot and transition and segue into the race discussion. I ruined that. I'm sorry.
No, you're
But
fine.
yes,
I'm trying. I'm practicing. We're almost to the end of the season, but I'm still working hard.
listen, the good news about Formula Friday is even when the season is done, we're not. So you have all the time in the world to practice this.
Okay.
But yes, the race. We have to talk about Qatar and the the race that made me so anxious. Didn't have a whole lot of confidence going into the weekend just because on the sprint and qualifying, I just saw the pure pace that Max and Oscar had compared to Lando. And the whole thing with Lando at the beginning of last week was he just has to finish third in every race and then he's guaranteed to win. And he finished third in the sprint, and then he wasn't looking very good for the actual race itself, especially after, and well, you can use this to get into it. Around lap 7, where there was a safety car because of Nico Hulkenberg
Yeah, and Pierre.
and Pierre, and everybody, literally every single car, decided to pit except for McLaren.
Yeah, what was up with that strategy?
I have been trying to think about this for a while. So it seems like, because Lando brought it up too. They played a team radio. He said, "Why would we not come in?" And it seems a lot like that McLaren was pretty set in their strategy. They wanted the flexibility
Hmm.
because, as we know, the max tire life at this track, because Pirelli and Qatar, what a combination. was 25 laps. And I think McLaren had focused so much on that was kind of they got chess. So one of my biggest issues in chess when I first started to try to play a bit more serious was I would get what I call tunnel vision,
Yeah.
where I would come up with a strategy and regardless of what my opponent did, I would still barrel through and try to brute force my strategy. And guess what? It never worked. You know why? Because you need to adapt. You need to be able to adapt. You need to form a plan, and then the second you can't work, that plan won't work. You have to form a second plan. And I think that for whatever reason, McLaren was still thinking that the 25-25-7 pit strategy was going to work. And all it really did was offset them from other cars. And in the end, I mean, I think they were banking a lot on tire deg at the end of the race. I genuinely think that's what it was. I think that they did all their calculations for the original plan. I feel like I'm talking in circles. And I think they were hoping that I mean it kind of worked with when Lando passed Kimmy,
Yeah.
but I think they were thinking that the hard tires were going to fall off a lot more steeply than they did.
Yeah.
And it was a gamble and it was a very bad one. What really gets me is why McLaren didn't try to offset strategies and at least send either Oscar or Lando in just to try it out.
Yes.
I I think McLaren's just trying to play it really safe because Max is kind of a looming threat. If Max wasn't still a threat, they probably would have tried to mix it up a bit. But I think that they thought this was the most optimal thing that could happen. Maybe they thought another safety car was going to come out at some point, which would have probably brought things back into play. I don't know. I wish that they would have experimented and put either or brought in either Lando or Oscar. Honestly, I don't care which one at this point because it would have been better than what they did, which was nothing.
Yeah. I saw a couple theories rolling out. That was one of them was they wanted to be fair, and if they would have pit both, and somebody would they would have had a double stack, and somebody would have got like their pit stop would have been 5 seconds instead of 3, and they could lose positions that way.
Right, but that would have been if they both came in. But if they would
Yeah.
have just let one person out
But
and
then
then
you,
have
you
one
still
come
have
in,
one person out on different strategies. You got to be fair, and I agree. It's very murky.
I think people are focusing too much on the papaya rules of it all, which I think they're dumb. I think that honestly McLaren I think it was more gamble than papaya rules. I think it
Okay.
was more they thought for whatever reason that this strategy was going to work and maybe another safety car was going to come out because it's Qatar, I guess. And I think they just backed the wrong horse. And because of all of that, it forced Oscar to fight back. It forced Lando to try to fight back up. And ultimately it didn't matter because by the time they got close to challenging Max, he could safely pit and it wasn't a problem for him.
Yeah. I and it's weird because Oscar did have the pace this weekend. Oscar was pretty fast. Like,
Oscar was really fast. There's something about this track that just clicks with Oscar. He likes this track, and you
yeah.
can tell.
And the way like Max was he was staying a good distance, but he couldn't close a door or close a distance at all.
Mhm.
And when it was Lando and Max or Lando and Oscar out front, he was just Max was there, but like he couldn't get anywhere close.
He couldn't. He was having some steering troubles this weekend too, which makes me even more angry that
Yeah, like the setup was weird and like it was
uh-huh.
porpoising again.
And this isn't the first time Max has complained about the steering on this Red Bull this season either. That's the thing. This has been a consistent issue, but because Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen, he can just pilot a garbage can to victory.
Yeah, he could take a Prius out there and probably somehow end up on a podium.
Mhm. I do the more I think about it, the more I look at it, I think McLaren might have been banking, which if you have a strategy, you never want to bank on a safety car happening. I think that the worst possible strategy you can do in a race is bank on a safety car. Because yeah, you might get one, but also you might only get one, and it might be in the first 7 laps of the race, and then you won't get it again because this track is a parade.
Yeah, and it really did show that it was a parade because during the sprint it was boring. It was
Mhm.
just DRS train, and then during the race from fourth on to like 12th or 16th or whatever it was just a DRS train.
I mean, this track is famous for it too, and this is a problem that's gotten brought up multiple times too. They had a drivers meeting uh last week, I think. And one of the things that were brought up, Lewis actually Hamilton brought this up where he's like, "Hey, you have the data from Qatar. You know we've done this race 3 years now. You know that passing doesn't happen and the pit lane is too long. Why don't we change that?" And they essentially said, "Oh, we never thought about that," which I think is BS. They've absolutely thought about it, but I don't think they want to alter it because I think that Qatar doesn't want to alter it.
Yeah, well, I think Qatar's building their own another track too. That
Oh yeah, that's kind of somewhat in the air, isn't it?
yeah,
That corner that's like the woo off the edge of a building.
yeah. Was that real? Like
I never know anymore because at this point I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I really hope that isn't like part of it, but like yeah, it feels I don't know weird
A
to
little
have.
part of me wants it to be real. It feels extremely dangerous and stupid, but it does also feel like it's another step closer to the world of Speed Racer, which I would love that kind of racing. I think that's awesome.
Or Mario Kart Rainbow Road.
Yeah, or Rainbow Road. Hopefully with more guardrails.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Have like I was gonna say Michael Massey, but just somebody come out there and just fish out the cars.
So I guess in the end, because my original question for this was, should McLaren have pit on that safety car? I think one of them should have. Yes, I think they should have just went for it. They were already gambling anyway. Why not just keep doing it?
Yeah, and I get fairness and all that. Yeah, you should have just split the strategy at that point. It's
Hmm.
and granted they were in the front, they couldn't know what everybody else was doing.
Right.
But you have radios. Like I use F1 multi-viewer. I can see the team radios. They have better technology than me.
Hmm.
So
I
I
hope they do.
yeah, they should. But yeah,
uh, the next story from this track that I kind of want to bring up, it's like a micro story. Turn 10. They need to fix turn 10 on this track because everybody was struggling with whatever the track limits on turn 10 was. I don't know if it's a problem with this regulation of car, which in which case it won't matter next year. But everybody seemed to be getting what's the word? The
track limits.
penalty track limit. Thank you. We're violating the track limits on turn 10 to the point where George, Mr. Teacher, I believe we had homework.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Hey, you need to keep an eye on Charles and Lando and all these people because I'm driving behind them and they're cutting the track or going over
Yeah,
the
they're
limits
going
there.
wide. I think it
They're
was
going wide."
yeah, I think it was the turn 10 was just they were going wide to get a better angle on the
Mhm.
entry. Yeah.
And the really funny thing about that is after George's radio message, that's when you started seeing it pop up on the top of the screen. Track limitations, track limits, track limits,
Yeah.
track limits. They started keeping track of it after George. So I mean, go George, I guess that worked out.
Yeah, and I use like I said, I use F1 multi-viewer, and it has a little chime anytime there's a race control message, and yeah,
Mhm.
that thing was going off. It was just ding, ding, ding.
Qatar's a bad track,
It
and
is
I think that it just shouldn't exist, and it absolutely should not be the second to last race of the season.
no. Possibly here's number one of the hot takes. No Middle East track is good. Nothing against the Middle East. I just don't like any of their tracks.
I will
Bahrain
always
is
I'll defend Bahrain. I like Bahrain. I
I
think
like
it's a
the
good track.
see I like the Secure circuit better.
Yeah.
There's the oval part, kind of oval, like misshapen oval.
Mhm.
You put the oval in the water for too long and it dried out and got all wrinkly oval.
The wrinkly oval.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like Qatar. I don't like Abu Dhabi, and you've alluded to it. The championship's going down to Abu Dhabi, and I don't like it.
I
It
don't
should,
like it either.
it should go to Brazil.
It The final race of a Formula One season should always finish at the most exciting track. And the most exciting track, which has been the most exciting track for what, 40 years now? It's Brazil. It's always Brazil. There's something about that track that's incredible, and it unlocks the best racing all the
Yeah.
time. There's never a bad race at Brazil, it seems.
Uh,
Another big story from this race, of course, that we can't ignore. Carlos Sainz got another podium in the William, while his former team, Ferrari, struggles. And to add another layer of sadness to this, Lewis Hamilton's former team, Mercedes, Kimi Antonelli, the person who replaced Lewis, also has more podiums than he does.
yeah. It's really bad for that. Also, this makes Carlos Sainz a double liar now because he said that don't expect any podiums. Now he got another one. So shame on you, Carlos. I hope he apologizes.
I don't know what devil magic Williams has performed, or maybe Carlos just finally unlocked something, but my God, this last half of the season, he is on it, and
He's
I love
yeah,
him.
he's turned it up. Frank Williams has possessed this car.
He really has. And I think a lot of it too has to do with James Vowles and the direction that he's taking Williams now.
Yeah.
They are we've I've brought this up a lot over the last few weeks since we've been doing this show, really. Williams is doing everything they can to break out of the Mercedes junior team mold, and they are doing it with a bang. They
Yes.
are making a statement saying, no, this is the new era of Williams, and they're just giving us a taste of it in the last half of the season, and it's only going to get better from here, I think.
Yeah, and I love it. It's something I wish VCarb would do, but fortunately they are not doing that. And it's I don't like it. I don't like VCarb. I love Williams for this. It's just yeah. I don't I don't think VCarb will do it, but I wish they would because it's shown Williams has shown that it can be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Uh who was it that got a somebody got a penalty during the race? For was it? Oh man, I'm forgetting.
Well,
For
okay. Ollie
uh,
Behrman got a 10-second penalty for an unsafe release. I can't talk from pit stop, and Esteban and Lance got 5-second penalty.
uh
Esteban for a jump start, and then Lance for speeding in the pit, which
yeah,
is
and
weird. You have a pit limiter on that car. How do you speed?
I think he put it on late or was the late break, but the Bearman, I think that's what I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he got the penalty, went in to serve the penalty, didn't serve it correctly because the mechanic touched his car, and then had to serve the penalty again. I
Hmm.
get this is a team sport. Hot take, maybe not. This should not be a penalty on the driver for the mechanic messing up like this. Maybe they should
Hmm.
do something similar to NASCAR, which again, not a NASCAR podcast, but
Uh-huh.
like NASCAR penalize they forget a wheel nut or something. They penalize the crew chief. They penalize somebody else and they get fined and everything. Why doesn't Formula One do this?
I think because money doesn't matter in Formula One. You can find people as much as you want in Formula One, and they're going to come up with it, and it's not going to affect them at all in any way. Now, what they could do is instead of a set fine amount, they could base it off of a percentage of. See, I don't even know how they would do this because there's some countries where if you get a speeding ticket, it's not a flat $200; it's a percentage of your income,
Hmm.
which I think is better. But so if they can figure out a way to do something like that, but with the teams in Formula One, like, hey, every time you do this, you get less
Maybe,
air tunnel
yeah,
time, wind tunnel time. I don't know. I don't know how
maybe
they would even enforce something like that
yeah,
though.
I get like the reason for it is you don't want to like serve your penalty, quote unquote, and then you come in, they touch it right away, like, oh, blah blah blah. But like maybe have like a rolling scale and like deduct points from constructors or do something else besides ruin the race for that person because that one mechanic like accidentally touched the car a third of a second too soon.
I am in agreement with you where it shouldn't affect the driver because at the end of the day, the driver is kind of the quarterback of the team.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know.
I don't know how you regulate it,
Yeah,
but it just feels a little poopy
it does
because
feel kind of poopy.
Yeah, the driver didn't. The driver stopped. He waited. The mechanic touched it like a third of a second too late. Imagine watching football. The quarterback gets penalized because of something the defense did.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's one of my hot takes for tonight.
I mean, I don't know if that's a hot take. That's a reasonable take to me.
Oh,
I get it.
yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
So okay. I think do you have anything else you want to touch on the race before we get to the serious conversation?
Uh, going through my notes real quick. No, not really. Just more stuff about the upcoming race and what it means.
Okay. So we can't not talk about what happened with Kimi Antonelli in this race. So if you didn't see it or you didn't fully get the scope of what happened because and I'll get into this too of the broadcast. The last lap of the race, Lando was in 5th place and he was chasing down Kimi Antonelli and Carlos Sainz was in 3rd. And Lando was gaining, but there was only a few laps left and Lando wasn't going to catch Kimi. And as we saw from Brazil, Kimi's really good at holding off good drivers. Now, if there would have been a few more laps, Lando would have passed him. Just because if you look at the time splits, they were on fresh tires.
Yeah.
He was going to get past him, but he wasn't going to get past him before the race was over. But one of the last turns, Kimi went wide, went off the track a bit, and then Lando just passed him. And that, of course, made Lando finish 4th. And because Lando finished 4th, that's what set up the scenario to where Lando could still win the championship in the next race. It really was kind of hinging on if he finished 4th or 5th, because if he finished 5th, it was going to be more of an uphill climb for Lando to win the championship this Sunday.
Yeah, that one pass, he gained 2 extra points.
Exactly, which
Grand scheme
very
of things,
important.
yes.
And if this championship comes down to 2 points, yeah, that's why. So there are 3 major things that I think have contributed to what we're about to talk about. Helmut Marko, he is the I never know what he is. He's a boss for Red Bull, but he's like a consultant for Formula 1, but he also has his fingers in a lot of pies and
Yeah, he's like the driver development like lead guy. He's like the head of the development of the team and or the academy and everything.
mhm. So he's also a, and pardon my language, notable shit stirrer. He loves to be petty, which is really weird behavior to see out of a man as old as he is because he's ancient.
Yes.
But he essentially floated the idea that Kimmy let Lando pass on purpose so Lando could still be in the running for the championship to chase down Max, Red Bull driver, and Oscar, who I think Helmet is also his name's Helmet. He's also okay, that was me being petty. I'm not going to make fun of somebody because of their name. But I think he's also defended Oscar in the whole McLaren situation too, because again, he's an old guy who has more of a platform than I think he should, and people like what he says because he brings drama. So that's the first thing. I think Helmet was a big contributor because of how he is in the sport, his standing.
Hmm.
The second big contributor, I'm going to say Sky Sports and F1 themselves, because when the pass with Lando happened, we didn't see it happen and we didn't see a replay until the celebrations after the race was over. So when they cut back, you just see Kimmy was off to the side and Lando had passed him. And then the broadcast put up a message from Max's engineer that said it looks like it looks like Kimmy just let him pass. And they didn't play any other context or any other radio. They just showed that. And I think that was extremely irresponsible of them to do. That's insane. You have so many team radios. Why would they only broadcast that and what he said and then not elaborate on it? And then why would you wait until the celebrations, a part of the race that I think is fair to say a lot of people don't watch, the podium ceremony or
Yeah.
celebrations? So a lot of people turned off the race after that, probably thinking wrongfully that Kimi let Lando pass. And then I started seeing other rumors about, oh, well, maybe it's a Mercedes thing, uh, engine supplier thing, because McLaren uses a Mercedes engine. And I guess people were thinking, oh, Mercedes told them to let Lando pass because of whatever, which is dumb because Oscar is also in a Mercedes engine because McLaren. So that was the other factor. And I think the third major factor in all of this, and I know I'm setting this up, I'm going to say what happened after I'm done setting this up. The fans of Red Bull, specifically Max Verstappen Red Bull fans, have a lot of hate toward Lando. I think most of it started last season when Lando and Max were getting a bit more scrappy toward the end. And I think a lot of that hate toward Lando was directed toward Kimi because of the first two things that I had mentioned. And there is a group of Max Verstappen fans that are absolutely ruthless and
Yes.
brutal. And I think that they weren't helping anything. I think they were amplifying and they were targeting all of their anger at Kimi Antonelli like a laser beam. So all of this to set up that Kimi Antonelli was getting bullied hard. There were even claims that he was getting death threats from people because everybody thought that Kimi let Lando pass. When in reality, you want to know what happened, Lewis? I know you know. His tires were old.
Yeah.
It's that thing that I talked about at the top where what I think McLaren was banking on. His tires were old. Qatar chews up tires and he just lost it because he couldn't hold off Lando because Lando was gaining, had fresher tires. That's all it was. That's all it came down to. Kimi just kind of choked it because he's a 19-year-old rookie
Yes.
racing on a track he hasn't raced on before or doesn't have a whole lot of experience on at the very least. And I hate all of this that happened. Again, he's a 19-year-old kid. He's still a kid.
He really is.
And I know that there's always going to be the argument from a fan base, sports fans in general, that are like, well, if you're racing at the professional level, you should be able to take criticism. I'm drawing the line at death threats. Death threats aren't criticism. That's psychotic.
Yes.
You shouldn't be sending death threats to anybody, let alone a 19-year-old kid.
Hmm.
What is wrong with people?
It's insane, and we've seen it in other sports too. This isn't just the only thing, but yes, it is insanely stupid. And we even in other sports, baseball, the manager for the Padres, I can't think of his name, Mike Schilt, he
Mhm.
retired due to just stress and overwhelmness, and he even mentioned part of it was due to people giving him threats and everything. Granted, that's due to sports betting, that's a different thing, but still, you don't do death threats. And here is one of the reasons I wore a long sleeve today. I'm going to roll up my sleeves real quick and get a little dirty with this.
Do it.
All
You look
right,
very nice, by the way. I like
thank
that
you,
shirt.
thank you. All right, this is for Helmut Marko.
Okay.
You POS. You like he has never said anything like really good or really sustainable or anything good of substance. He never
Mhm.
has. He has gone on record of saying borderline racist stuff towards Checo.
Mhm.
He is not really done good with drivers on the team, promoting, demoting, get rid of Daniel Ricciardo. Like that's another separate issue, but like you don't let him finish out the season. You don't let him go to Austin where he's really good. Anyways, and you want to talk about McLaren and maybe the Mercedes tie and all this, and like, oh, maybe let him pass because the Mercedes like supplier and everything to McLaren. I'm a Marco. I don't know if you know this. You have 4 cars on the grid at the moment. You
Mhm.
have 2 Red Bulls and 2 V Carbs, which V Carb has in the past done things to help out Red Bull multiple times. Even Qatar, I think a year or two ago, I think it was Pierre, literally did not have DRS open when he could have to make sure Max got past him. Like, don't act like you're so special. Like somebody, even if McLaren and Mercedes did have an agreement where they let him pass, so what? That's part of having multiple teams on the grid. That's part of having friends on the grid. That is part of it. And don't act like you're all high and mighty up there with your one glass eye, and act like you like can't see this. Starting this and knowing his like where he is and the power he has with his voice is ridiculous, especially to start this. Like, I'm okay with some not really controversy, but like add some excitement to the race and to the all this, but don't like go on speculation and cause all of this. At least if you see all this happen, retract it. But we know Helmut Marko, he's not going to retract any of these statements. He's going to double down if he gets to. And he has 4 cars on the grid. Don't act like you're special. You have 4 cars. And you have 4 drivers you could pick up at any point in time. There's don't like Helmet.
I don't either. It's insane that he has the platform and power that he has, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, so he was a driver back in the 70s. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a good one, by the
No.
way. I don't understand how he has the platform that he has, other than he's old and there's some kind of weird boys club propping him up and still allowing him to speak.
Yeah, he might have just been really good friends with Dmitry Mateschitz. I hope I'm saying that name right. The former owner of Red Bull.
Just to add a little bit, so this is from Racing News 365. They said that they understand that over 100 or 1,100 severe or suspect comments were flagged by Mercedes community management team on all of Kimi's accounts, and several of them were death threats or wishing harm upon him. And in addition to that, there were 330 severe comments that were flagged across all of Mercedes accounts. And it got to the point where Mercedes and the FIA released statements. What's the opposite of condone? I can't think of the word,
I
but
can't think of it either. Like,
saying,
don't do it.
yeah, saying don't do it. And Mercedes and the FIA are using it to promote the United Against Online Abuse campaign, which is good. I am glad that the FIA and Mercedes, for sure Mercedes, sticking up for their driver, but the FIA getting involved in this too.
Good.
I hope it's not just grandstanding on their part, because I mean, even if it is grandstanding, it's still grandstanding for a good cause, so whatever. I'm glad that they brought it up. I wish that Helmut Marko would somehow get punished for it. Now, he did release a statement after retracting what he said and denounce. The word I was looking for was denounce.
Oh, good job.
Mercedes and the
Yeah.
FIA denounced it. But Helmut did kind of walk back at what he said and apologize, but we live in a world where consequences should not be dismissed just because somebody said, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that." And also another thing that I saw today, which I thought was cool, Max even got on to Red Bull, and he basically said, "Hey, what's happening with Kimi is messed up." And I think a lot of the pressure from Max's camp kind of made Helmut tuck his tail between his legs a little bit too, because you don't want to piss off the golden cow
Yeah.
of your team. The person who's literally single-handedly scored more points in the constructors championship than all Ferrari, both of them combined. You
Yeah.
don't want to piss off Max.
It's and okay. First off, online death threats not cool at all. There's no place in any sport anywhere that is viable or acceptable. I
Mhm.
personally think that, like, I don't know how the rules are in EU or wherever else. There should be some punishment for this for the people doing it.
Yes.
Also, like, I think that Helmut Marko should get punished as in a fine or something to be like the stop doing this. I doubt it, but it'd be nice.
What makes me the most up not the most. One of the things that makes me very upset about this whole situation is, I mean, Helmet, it's not going to stop Helmet from doing more things like this, because he does stuff like this all the time. He is, like I said, a noted S stirrer, and he's just going to keep doing it for reasons unknown to me, other than he's a bored old man who, I guess this is the only joy he finds in his life anymore, is doing 14-year-old petty drama.
Yeah. It's awful, and the way he just swaps out driver, like I believe he has like the say in what driver goes where too, which is annoying.
Is there a Red Bull curse, or is it just a Helmut Marko meddling curse?
Might be the Helmut Marko meddling curse. I like
Mm,
that, the meddling curse.
the meddling curse. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add to this whole? God, it makes me so angry. I'm just still
Yes.
so pissed off by it.
Another thing I'll add to this, Kim, if you're watching, yeah, I think you did great. Nothing wrong there. You got loose. It's whatever. Marco, if you're watching this, see me after class.
Wow. After class.
Yes.
Wow, you're saying see me after class with his glass eye? That's rude.
And for those of you who don't know, he was a Formula One driver. He did get a piece of gravel go through his face shield, and that's why his eye looks all weird.
Yes, he did. And I'm not making fun of him for that. I'm making fun of him for being a bad person.
Yes, and
Allegedly.
I think one comment, okay, that's acceptable. Like not acceptable, but like, all right, hey, I learned my lesson. This is multiple comments.
Yeah, no, this is a reoccurring theme with this piece of alleged human garbage.
Yeah.
It's important to say allegedly. All
Yes.
right,
Move on to
let's move
happier
on
news.
to happier news. Very happy news indeed. Something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Cadillac is finally going to announce their livery for their car for the 2026 Formula One season. And Lewis, once again, Cadillac is making all the right moves because they're going to announce it on February 8th, 2026, during the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
My God, they keep making the right decisions. An American team on the most watched thing on American television. Yes,
Oh
this is
my.
perfect. This is incredible. They are killing it with the marketing of this team and all of this. It's going to be great. And honestly, I wasn't going to watch. I mean, I was going to watch the Super Bowl, but I wasn't going to pay attention to the Super Bowl because I'm a Dolphins fan and I'm mad because the Dolphins suck. But now I'm going to at least pay a little bit of attention because I need to see this commercial. Now, unless the commercial gets leaked before, because sometimes that happens too. I don't think it will. But once again, it just goes to prove that Cadillac just knows what they're doing. And this is really the best possible way they could do this.
Yeah. They're really making it hard for me to not root for them. I don't like this. I'm trying to like have a team I don't like because I like everyone in Formula One. I got a McLaren book. I got like a Red Bull car. I like everybody. I don't want to like Cadillac, GM, Ford. We've been over this. It should be fun, but now they're trying to make me really like them. I don't like this.
Just hate Alpine. I know you're a Pierre guy, but they're not doing themselves any favors. Or hate Aston.
No.
Well, Fernando won't be there forever. You can hate Aston.
No, but they have Adrian Newey. Can't do it.
Hate Red Bull, like I do.
They have Max Verstappen. Can't do it. And Red Bull.
That's fair.
Red Bull.
I know you and I have talked about this before too, but it's an American team. It's a true American team in Formula One for the first time. Haas isn't a true American team. Cadillac continues to do everything right in a way to kind of give you, I'm not going to say pride for America, but they're really making you feel like it's a movement. And this is, hey, we are the American Formula One team. We are working on American drivers in our feeder system who will eventually end up here when either Checo or Bottas retire, because I, again, firmly believe that's still what the plan is. Those two are there to help get the car set up and up to speed, and then one of them is going to retire, and then, oh, look at that. Seats open, American driver on the American team. Perfect. If you're an American and you've been a Formula One fan for a while, I understand team loyalty. I do. But it's okay, in my opinion, to also like Cadillac.
Yeah.
Because that's our team. And they are doing everything they can to let you know that they are our team. And I'm going to also back Cadillac. I'm going to back McLaren and Cadillac. I'm going to back McLaren a little more. That's fine. It's your first love. But if Cadillac continues to keep doing what they're doing and doing it in the right ways, I like Cadillac a lot.
Yeah, I like I said, they're making all the right moves for me to like. I can't like. I really can't. I mean, do you think honestly this little maybe a side note? I don't know. Do you think Haas sees this and will see the American backing and be like, "Hey, we actually got to step up," or does Gene Haas just not care?
I don't think Gene Haas cares. I think all this has ever been for Haas is just another way to market him and his company. I mean, it doesn't help that Gene can't physically travel to a lot of these countries that Formula One races in because he's technically a felon. But I I hope that they're looking at it and then they realize that their most of their existence was kind of a joke. You know, the rich energy thing, the Nikita
Yeah,
Mazepin thing. It they never took it seriously, and I'm glad that Cadillac is finally listen. We are going to do this. We are getting in. We've been racing forever. We have the edge, we have the technology. Why don't we go all in? And the very first step of that let you know to have trust in them was the signing of Valtteri Bottas and Checo Perez.
yeah,
That was the most important thing that they've ever done because it set the tone. And they've done nothing but make the right building blocks to continue. The hype is very real for me with Cadillac. And I cannot wait to see what the car looks like because the second we know what the car looks like on Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to go to their website and buy a Valtteri Bottas hat. That is what's going to happen.
yeah,
I'm gonna get my Lando number one hat, and I'm going to get my Botus Cadillac hat.
yeah. I'm, I, I'm trying to talk myself out of like talk myself out of wanting to get one of them. It's very hard.
I think as an American F1 fan, you should be required to have at least one article of merch for Cadillac.
Well, I subscribe to that.
Because I mean, that's the other thing too. I want to support this team, and I want them to know that they have a backing. And said McLaren fan, yes, but also a fan of American F1 team that are making the right steps and actually seriously trying to put the effort forth
Yeah, and
to have our country represented on the global international racing scale.
I'm really curious to see how the fan base turns out for them throughout all the different races and everything because they always show the grandstands and everything.
Mhm.
Uh, just because this isn't like Cadillac is taking over for a team; they are like making their own. They're not like
It's a fresh team.
yeah, this isn't like Audi taking over for Sauer. This is a fresh team. This is a fresh start. Like,
Mhm.
and hype is real.
The fact that they got 2 extremely likable drivers too goes a long way. I think most of their fan base is gonna be in because of Checo, and people love Valtteri because I don't know a single person who hates Valtteri.
I can't think of a single person that would.
They're both extremely likable people, and I know Checo had that whole Monaco fiasco a few years ago, but he's got a fan base. He's got backing. He
And
has got the backing of an entire country.
he's really good driver, and he's the minister of defense.
A buddy of mine who has kind of paid attention to Formula One kind of in the periphery, but has never really gotten into it. He loves he loves Sergio Perez. He would always keep up with Sergio Perez when he was racing. And ever since Sergio has been announced as Cadillac's next driver, he's been talking to me a little more about Formula One, and I think I think I'm going to get him into it. I think
Ooh,
with the help of Checo, I'm going to help get another fan into the Formula One sphere, which again, extremely valuable. Cadillac, I don't know who's in I mean, I do know who's in charge, but they're making really good decisions and really good choices. And I can't say that enough. I keep saying it. I'm shocked. I think that's why I keep mentioning it. I'm just surprised that it seems like every single piece of news that comes out about this team is always a home run.
yeah. I don't think there's a piece of news that came out that's bad. Like, I really, even from their engine manufacturer, like they're
Right.
picking Ferrari, which is a good engine. Granted,
Yeah.
they didn't have much to choose from because they won't pick Ford. That's silly, and they
Mhm.
won't pick Mercedes. Or I
And
don't think they could. I think Mercedes topped out.
do you think they went with Okay, that's a good point. I was gonna say, do you think they went with Ferrari because Ferrari was willing to let them on a temporary deal while they work on their own? Because that's the other thing. Cadillac is going to have their own engine eventually, but
Yeah,
they're starting with the Ferrari engine because it's expensive to do R&D on an engine and a team at the same time. Another really good decision on their part.
yeah,
A decision that makes sense and is logical. Because again, Cadillac, everybody knows this, isn't going to be fighting for the championship next season or maybe the season after, or maybe even the season after. But they are doing everything they can to get a good head start.
yeah. And hopefully this is gonna be one of those moments. Chat. Oh my goodness, chat clip that so you can apologize later when they actually score podiums.
That's true. I will gladly eat crow. We got some other launch dates of cars, by the way. Aston, they're going to launch their car on February 9th. Yay.
Do you
Cool.
think it's gonna be green?
Yeah. I think it's
Oh,
gonna be green with maybe a little black,
ooh,
but also has Adrian Newey Devil Magic.
ah, it's like Homer and the Donuts. Just oh,
Oh,
Adrian Newey, team principal, Devil Magic.
that's true.
Oh my goodness, sign me
Eh.
up, inject it into my veins.
Speaking of American things and American teams, remember last week when I brought up the rumors about Mercedes and their upcoming deal with Pepsi?
Yeah, I do remember the
Well,
Pepsi
it's not
deal.
a rumor. Mercedes
Oh,
signed a deal with Pepsi, so there it is.
hmm.
You're gonna get Gatorade and Doritos on Mercedes cars.
Ooh.
It's gonna be the
Oh.
the gamer team, I guess, is what they're going
Do you
for.
okay? Do you think they're going to change one of their stars into a Dorito logo?
I hope that for the Miami race next season, they do a teal car and it's the Baja Blast car.
I was about to say I want a Mountain Dew full gamer like 2010 gamer montage car.
I want the
Hit,
live wire Mercedes to win.
yeah, I want the hit markers on there and everything. Mom, get the camera.
Okay, so I will let you handle this next bit because this directly affects you, Lewis.
Yeah, so it was announced this week. Red Bull has announced their 2026 driver lineup.
Hmm.
So taking over for Red Bull would be Max Verstappen. No surprise. I don't want you to fall out of your chair.
He's there for at least another season.
Yes. And beside him will be my boy Isaac got demoted. Isaac Hadjar got demoted to Red Bull,
This
which
isn't surprising because we've known this. We've known this is going to happen since he got that podium.
yeah,
Genuinely.
yeah. And I bet you're wondering, hey, what's going to happen to Yuki? How's he going to do in the V carb? Well, Yuki's not going to the V carb.
What? Where's Yuki going? Is he out of Formula One?
Kinda, he's reserve driver.
Oh, he's basically out
So
of Formula One.
yeah, V carb will now be with Arvid Lindblad. Lindblad, uh, who will be driving next to Liam Lawson.
Go
Well,
ahead and share your takes, please.
what I don't understand, they have a reserve driver that's pretty good. He's young.
Mhm.
He's 24. Just won the Super Formula Championship.
Oh,
He's fast. Why not put him in there? I have no idea. If this is a helmet Marco decision, this makes sense because this is something he would do. You
it's
have a
dumb.
exactly. You have a fast driver that is there who has been in like he's drove the Red Bull car. I believe as a young driver tester or whatever, like a year or two ago. I believe he has his super license because I mean he just let me remind you just won Super Formula, the Super
Mhm.
Formula champion at 24 years old, and they put in Arvid, which don't get me wrong, not a bad driver. Why is Liam still there?
Okay, I'm glad you said that because that's my same question. I think Arvid deserves a shot in Formula One. He really
Yes,
is genuinely he's a solid driver. And yeah, no Racing Bulls is a good landing spot for him. He deserves that seat. Liam Lawson needs to be a reserve somewhere. Put Yuki in the V carb. Let Liam be the reserve for Red Bull or V carb, I guess. Oh, Red Bull. Let Liam be the Red Bull reserve. I am confused by this, and I get that Yuki hasn't done great, but he was doing fine in the Racing Bull. It's just that the Red Bull sucks.
Yeah.
And I think that Yuki's kind of getting unfairly punished, but at the same time, I think we both kind of saw this coming in that, Yuki was kind of really heavily backed by Honda.
Yes. And that kind of ties into my question. Is Yuki going to go to Aston Martin?
I think that is on the table for next season. Because Yuki did release a statement basically saying, "I'm gutted, but I'm going to
Yeah.
try my hardest to get back in next year." This season, he wasn't even supposed to be at VCarb or Red Bull. The only reason he is still with the team is because Red Bull exercised their option for him. But he was eyeing Aston and Alpine, I believe.
Like Yuki does have backing from Honda themselves, and Honda is signed with Aston. A
Hmm.
Honda, a Honda powered Adrian Newey car. Yes, sign me up. Have Yuki in there. Replace Lance. That'll never happen, but like I could see Yuki being in the green before I see him leaving Formula One.
I could too. I don't think Yuki's done. I've always had a soft spot for Yuki. It's been kind of fun to watch him grow up over the last few years from his first season to now because he has grown up a lot and he has become a better driver. He needs a better car and he needs to be in a healthier team environment than Red Bull because I think he could really genuinely thrive if he was surrounded by better people.
Yeah, and I don't know. I would hope that he would go somewhere that can actually treat him right and better,
Yeah.
unlike Helmut Marko. But
I do think that that's a lot of it too, because and I'm saying this without actually knowing how it works or how the Red Bull team culture is, but based off of my vibes, it feels like Red Bull is very much a conform to us, we won't conform to you kind of team.
yes,
And whereas other teams like to help their drivers and at least meet them halfway, Red Bull is very much you have to fit this mold, and if you don't, then you're out.
yeah, and it sucks because they do have a lot of good reserve and juniors and stuff like that. For those of you who watch college football, they remind me of Nick Saban's Alabama team. They have a
Hmm.
5-star quarterback. He goes down. Well, here comes another 5-star out of
Right.
the blue. I mean, look what happened. It was like Jaden Milroe and Tua Tagovailoa.
No, Tua.
Uh,
I
I said
call him
his
Mr.
last
Scrambles.
because his brain is scrambled from the
Just
concussions.
wear a guardian cap, Tua. Just do it. That's all
Not
you
a
have to do.
Yeah, not a football podcast, but
Not a
yes.
football podcast. The Dolphins make me sad. Let's not talk about this.
All right. From one sad news to the other, Alpine. You know that team that does really, really. They show up.
Yeah, they are legally a Formula One team.
Yes. Their factory team really kind of a cool bittersweet moment. Their team signed their last engine that they made. So like on the how do you call it, the piping and stuff, the whole team that built it signed it.
Oh.
And because Alpine will go to Mercedes next year, Mercedes
Hmm.
powered. So the Renault and manufacturing team is done. So
Genuinely the end of an era.
yes,
An era that, I mean, people forget Renault, they pioneered a lot of advancements in Formula One that are still used today, not only in Formula One, but in cars. In 19 people it might be hard to believe, but in the 1981 season and 1982 seasons, they were the best team just
yeah,
in general. And it all started in the 70s when they started playing around with something that they were calling the supercharger.
yeah,
And couldn't get it, they couldn't get it, and then eventually they got it because, Alain Prost was a driver. It was doing very well for them. And as you can see, that impact has trickled throughout the entire world.
yeah,
It
and
sucks. It is really bittersweet to see how a team like this has fallen so far, and they are seemingly right now at their lowest point and probably the lowest point they've ever been in, and hopefully the lowest point they ever will be, just because it is such a staple team. It, team, engine, manufacturer, whatever you want to call it. It's just you think of Formula One, that is a cornerstone of Formula One. They have advanced the technology and have contributed to the sport in unimaginable ways.
and go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. It sucks when something like it would be like if Ferrari just hung it up and decided
Which,
to win.
yeah.
Not, I mean, not exactly, but it's that sentiment, you know?
Yeah, because you like, I got the list of Formula One championships here. Over here, you have a little guy, a rookie on the grid named Fernando Alonso, back to
Mhm.
back championships with the Renault Power.
Mhm.
Like he is the Renault has it's not just some they haven't always been this bad.
No.
It's for me it's kind of like seeing an old person slightly just like slowly go. It's like it's
I just thought
sad.
of it. In a lot of ways, it is kind of like watching Lewis Hamilton,
Oh
which I hated that I said, but it feels kind of like that.
yeah. Or Sebastian Vettel at the end. You just watch him, you're like, remember when you were champion? I remember.
We talk a lot about the Red Bull second driver curse, but when are we going to talk about the Ferrari curse where they suck the life force out of former champions?
I don't know. I really don't because Fernando, Kimmy. Well, Kimmy won a championship there, didn't he?
The last one.
Yeah. Back in 2007, back when there was a tie. I believe.
Yup. Well,
Segue?
I sort of segue in, but that can't happen because of the tiebreaker scenarios, which
Yeah,
whatever. But
that's true.
yes, finally, let's talk about Abu Dhabi, the final race of the 2025 Formula One season that is coming down to three drivers: Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri. Did I mention Oscar last because I'm being petty? Oh. So, just real quick, there are a handful of scenarios
Yes.
that can happen. By
Like,
far, the driver that has the best chance to win based off of all of the doors open to him is Lando. Because literally, Lando just doesn't have to DNF and he has to finish in the top 5. And I think he's good.
yeah, I have a graphic on screen for those you who want to see it over here. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. The if I had to bet on it, it would be Lando because there's so many more options for him to have to win it.
Yes, and I agree, except for one, there's one specific scenario for Max that I can see happening and it terrifies me. Because Max can win the championship if he wins the race and Lando finishes in 4th or lower. And that is the most likely sounding thing that can. Max has a 1% chance of, not 1%. Bad analogy. Forget I said that. Basically, Max has a few doors, but this door is lit up and says open.
Yeah,
Max winning and Lando finishing 4th is an extremely real possibility. It's not some weird, like, oh, you need this, 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 and this to happen. This is just a normal race scenario. I I think this has happened before. Max just wins and Lando gets 4th, and then Max is the world champion. It's a very real possibility. And of course, and I don't want to slight Oscar. Oscar can still win. It's just he has two options to win. He needs to win the race. Lando needs to get 6th or lower, and Max needs to DNF, or it doesn't matter what Max does, or he needs to get 2nd. Lando needs to be 10th or lower, and Max needs to be 4th or lower. I'm not saying Oscar can't do it, but it is two very specific scenarios. Max has three very specific scenarios of those, because the other ones are he finishes 2nd, Lando 8th, Oscar 3rd, or he finishes 3rd, Lando's 9th, Oscar 2nd. The 1st and 4th scenario is living rent free in my head, and it will continue to terrify me up until the checkered flag is waved because it just feels so tangible. It feels exactly like what could happen.
yeah. At least you
And
don't have to worry about Michael Massey.
It's true because Lando has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, basically 11 ways he could win the race
Yes.
or win the championship, and Max has three, but Door number 1 is a very, very, very big door. It's a garage door. And I'm going to depress myself even further by giving you some stats.
Real quick before we move on to stats, or I guess you could do it after stats. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, basically, it was the hypothetical question.
Okay. So, give me the question.
Okay. Max is leading the race. Lando P4, Oscar P3. Do they swap?
I want to say yes, but at the same time, we've been hearing from McLaren over the last couple days that they are free to race. But if you're in that scenario where it's either going to be Max or Lando, depending on what Oscar does, then I would hope that Oscar decides to be a team player in that moment because of the very specific constraints that Oscar needs to win the championship at this point. I would like to think that Oscar would let it happen. I would like to imagine that team orders would happen.
So I thought the same thing. But let me remind you, his manager is one Mark
Mark
Webber.
Webber. Yep.
Do you remember the infamous Multi 21, Seb?
Yep.
Yeah, do you think he has that? Do you think he'll hear the race engineer like swap positions, and then he hears in the back of his mind Mark Webber going "nar nar"?
At
Best
the end of the
Australian I could
day,
do.
Mark works for Oscar, not the other way around. So I hope that he wouldn't let him influence him because if Mark wants to stop representing Oscar, Oscar's not going to have trouble finding another manager. He's just not. I would hope that Oscar still has enough goodwill toward the team of McLaren to be like, put the team first.
Yeah,
And putting the team first, even at the cost, the expense of his own. I mean, it wouldn't even be his own anything. That's the thing. That that would be the worst possible thing he could do, not only for him, but for his future, wherever he ends up. You don't want to be on that big of a stage with that big of a spotlight and you refuse team orders because you're the person standing in the way of either your teammate winning or letting another person from another team win. That's
yeah.
an extremely bad look.
Seb did it, and Seb was loved, and he went on to win championships.
Yeah.
It's a very rough situation, but I heard this hypothetical put out there, and I just want to get your opinion as a McLaren fan. Like in that situation, like you go team or do you go selfish?
I would hope you go team.
Yeah,
Going team is, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for Oscar or what he'll do. I know what his fan base wants, and I have talked to his fan base. But Oscar himself, I would hope and imagine that he at least has the sense to put the team first in that scenario, especially because he's not gaining anything if he doesn't let Lando pass.
yeah,
He's not gaining anything.
yeah. You don't gain anything in the point or the final standings, like
Right.
but it's just ego at that point. And I feel like if
Exactly.
he did that, his contract's open. Like I feel like
Uh-huh.
the team would drop him.
I wouldn't blame them either. And not, I mean, I would lose all respect for Oscar. I would, if it came down to this very specific scenario, like I'm upset with Oscar right now, but it's whatever. Heat of the season, you know? But if he did something like this, I would hold a deep grudge in my heart that I would never forgive for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Because it's not because of the Lando thing, but because of the team thing, you know?
yeah. Would it be like I forget the name of the driver who is suing but not suing, maybe still suing the Formula One to get his championship back from that 1 year?
Oh, yeah.
It'd be kind of like that, just always holding a grudge over it.
Hmm. All right. Well, that was a really depressing conversation. You let me down, so I'm just gonna be
So,
even more sad. Here's some stats from this track. Max has won this track 4 times, Lewis. You know how many times Lando has won this track?
no, I do not.
Once,
Oh,
last year. Lando has only finished on the podium here. Once, last year. You want to guess how many times Max has finished on the podium, Lewis?
at least four since he has 4 wins.
6.
Okay.
Oscar has never finished on the podium at this track. The other thing, so other than the last season when Lando won this race, he had kind of been consistently finishing like ninth, eighth, seventh, sixth, fifth he was kind of working his way up, but he's only gotten a podium at this track once, which sucks because I really need him to get a podium because I have a feeling that Max is going to pull something out of his arse. I think that this race is going to come down to pit stops, teamwork, and pace. We know McLaren has the pace. We don't know if they have the pit stops. They've seemed better over the last couple of weeks, but this highlights what you and I just talked about, teamwork. I think that if it really comes down to it, what will decide this race is if Lando and Oscar decide to play nice with each other.
Yeah, and for the teamwork aspect, it sucks. Max is fighting by himself.
He is. Max is his own team. I
Yeah,
said this earlier. He, by himself, has scored more points than the entirety of Ferrari in the constructors.
yeah. And last time he had a championship battle at Abu Dhabi, he had Checo and the Minister of Defense, like
And Nicholas Latifi.
Michael Massey.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like this, he doesn't have Yuki to help him out really, unless Yuki all of a sudden just like has jet fuel in there.
I think that this will come down to just Max and Lando. Lando and Oscar, it's going to be 2-on-1, is what I think this
Yes.
is going to come down to. And if Lando and Oscar spend the whole time, because I know they got the okay to race and race each other, but if you're racing each other, Max is going to walk away with it. You have to help each other out, whether that's helping with defending other people behind Lando, or if that is not fighting Lando, so you both let Max get 15 seconds ahead of you, and then you never have the opportunity. Granted, Lando does have a little more wiggle room than that, but not a whole lot. Lando needs to finish on the podium, bar none. Lando needs to get a top 3 here,
Yeah.
which I think he's capable of, but I'm nervous about. Another depressing stat. Lando's never won the same track twice so far.
That's a fun fact.
I mean, he didn't start winning races until last season, but every race he's won, he's never won before or since. Which, now that I think about it, isn't really that much of a stat because he just started winning, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a fun fact though.
I'm just trying to depress myself. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, it's fine.
I just have a knot in my stomach, and Max Verstappen is terrifying. He is my boogeyman, and he will always be my boogeyman. And this, I wasn't a. I've always kind of been a Lewis Hamilton fan, and 2021 kind of put a little bit of a grudge in me about Max Verstappen. But as the years have gone on, that grudge has just turned into utter respect and fear.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't hate Max. I'm just terrified by Max, and I'm in awe of Max. And this is a very much a David and Goliath situation. And I know a lot of people have been like, "Oh, McLaren dominance. Oh, I want Max to win because he's the underdog." Max is never the underdog.
Oh, he's been the champion for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And I think the whole last time he was at Abu Dhabi with the Michael Massey and everything would have put a sour taste in people's mouth about Max if that was his only championship.
Yeah. And Max did go on to prove himself, obviously, the following years, especially 2023. Max earned the championship. I count 2021 for Lewis because it really should have been, by all accounts, it should have been Lewis. It wasn't, and you can't play what ifs and rewrite history. I get that. But that sucked. It just sucked.
Because it could have been Lewis's earlier, too, if he didn't hit the brake magic button.
It's true. The last time, by the way, that we went into Abu Dhabi with 3+ drivers in the contention for the championship was 2010. Sebastian Vettel won that year.
What was he driving that year?
It's Ferrari, wasn't it?
Nope.
Or was that Red Bull? Oh, that was Red Bull.
It was one of his 4.
Yep.
In a Red Bull. And so you could say that this race is a Game 7 moment.
It is a very natural Game 7 moment that happened organically.
Oh, yeah. Unlike, other racing series that have to do a playoff system. Not a NASCAR podcast. I was going to say, not a NASCAR podcast, but F you NASCAR. Look what happens when you do it naturally.
Yeah, turns out that a full points season works still, and it's great,
Yeah,
and it's exciting, and it is literally coming down for the second time in 5 years to the last race of the season.
yeah. It's weird that how this happens. NASCAR. Sorry, that was my one hot take there. It's amazing because again, Thunder fan. We had a Game 7 last year. Game
Mhm.
7 was amazing. It was beautiful. It was on the edge the whole time until Tyrese Halliburton blew out his Achilles. But it was a great moment, and I can't wait for you to experience. As genuinely as a friend, I can't wait for you to experience this moment. But as your co-host and Red Bull fan, I can't wait for you to enjoy this moment.
I am scared as hell. I really am. I am going to be a wreck on Sunday, and I know you're gonna come over to my place, and we're gonna watch the race together on Sunday, and I can't guarantee that I won't be a wreck the entire time.
That's fine. It's perfectly normal. I was pacing around. I was biting my nails. I was on my seat and everything. It was insane. It's a fun moment, and it's one that's going to live in your mind forever, win or lose.
Oof.
And and speaking of win or lose, I put up on my one of my racing leagues. We have a Discord. I'm a
Oh,
Discord moderator here. I'm a kitten. Uh, but I put in there.
don't call yourself that again. I hated that.
That's just what Discord moderators do, right?
Ugh.
I put up two questions with multiple answers, polls. Who will win the F1 championship? So this one obviously had Max, Lando, Oscar, but then I put two extra questions in there. Anyone but Lando or anyone but Max?
Mhm.
The results are in 57% of the people said Lando. 29% said Max. 14% said anyone but Max. So it seems like, at least in this small segment I pulled, big Lando. It's pulling for Lando. And then I had a follow-up question. If Max wins, what actually happened? McLaren fumbled it or Max is Max? And the votes are 80-20. 80% Mac or McLaren fumbled it.
Yep.
And I kinda agree with that part. It's it's not McLaren as a team really. It's each driver individually has kind of just had those moments.
Yeah, they really have. They both have had their fair share of bottles over the course of the season. Mix that in with the very inconsistent pit crew, and again, the scenario that scares me the most, which is a Max P1 and Lando P4. I'm not insane, right? Like, that is the most least crazy scenario on the table for this entire weekend, other than Lando getting a top 3. A Max P1 and a Lando P4, especially those stats that I shared earlier, where Lando has only gotten the podium at this track once, it feels way too plausible for me to be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
It
it
feels
really,
exactly like it's just a normal race result.
yeah, it honestly that's what Qatar should have been.
Yeah.
As weird as that is, that was Qatar, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
he was
That's
racing.
that's what Qatar was.
Yeah, until Kimmy. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. And also on the bright side of this though, with Lando and Oscar both having their moments throughout the season. You know, Oscar at Baku and Lando at Canada. It shows how dominant the MCL 39 is, and
It
how
really
good
is.
both drivers are. If we
Uh-huh.
like, they are both in contention after having those moments. It's not like uh one versus two. We have two, kind of 2v1 or 1v1v1 or whatever you want to call it. It's not like 2021 where Max and Lewis both had mistakes, and sometimes mistakes with each other or on top of each other like Monza, but
Mhm.
they genuinely have had hiccups throughout the year, and they're both are on top still.
Mhm.
It just shows how good these drivers really are and how good Max is.
And none of this came out of nowhere either. Like, Oscar's always been solid. When Oscar was first signed to McLaren after the Alpine situation, I was stoked because Oscar's a great driver. Lando has always been a really consistent driver, and he's gotten better as the years have gone on. So it's not just the car, it's a combination of car and driver. And it's just highlighted at the end of last season especially, but this season obviously. It's oof. I've got one bit of news that I want to share
Go
for
ahead.
this race, by the way. Um McLaren, which I hate, is doing. I mean, I don't hate McLaren. I hate what they're doing. They're running a special livery for this race, the final race of the season. And I I think it looks a little goofy, like it's fine. I don't hate it, but it is courtesy of fans who inspired or contributed to the design. So it's cool in that it was a fan-made group effort kind of wrapping up and culminating at the end of the season. But I'm going to bring this back to an argument that I've had before about liveries. If it's a big race that will decide the championship of one of your drivers at least, run the run the livery that you've been running all season.
Yeah.
Don't win the championship in a special livery.
Yeah, and it's like you're gonna have the pictures like the championship car. You didn't win the championship in that car. You won it in the regular one. Like, if you get what I'm saying, like you.
Yeah, I get it. It's a very specific, weird nitpick of mine, but I'm not going to be sad if Lando wins the championship in this car. Oh no. But I'm a little part of me is going to wish that it happened in, you know,
Yeah,
just in this.
but you know
This
what
is
would make
technically the 24 car, but you know what I mean.
yeah, you know what would make it better if you won the championship in the Golf livery.
I love that. Sorry, my floor plate came off. What is this,
Oh no.
Vegas?
Ooh.
Okay. Let's move on to predictions. We do two regular and one bold prediction. Let's start by going over our predictions from the last race. We did them last race, right?
Yes, we did do
Yes,
them.
yes, we did do predictions last race.
I'll go first. My first one was one driver complains about tires. I thought about this throughout the weekend and
Mhm.
during the race. Don't give that to me because that was way too. It's hard to quantify that. If they complain about it on the radio, but they don't broadcast it, or if it's the broadcast, it was unjustifiable for me to even predict that.
That's fair. I get it. It is. Listen, you took a shot, and I appreciate because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Michael
So,
Scott.
it's fine. 100%. That's fine with me. My first prediction was 3 safety cars, not a virtual safety car. We got 1.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the Pierre.
Mhm.
What was up with that move? Like real quick, I don't know what Pierre was trying to do.
I I don't have any words. It doesn't make any sense to me either. I
There.
don't get it.
Oh yeah, that could have been part of. Hey, Helmut Marko, maybe you paid off Pierre to take out Hulkenberg so he can cause a caution, so you can go in there and get your tires for free. Oh, Helmut Marko. I'm Helmut Marko. Uh, so my next prediction was at least 2 penalties, which
There were 3.
yeah, I
So,
was.
congrats.
Thank you. What was yours?
No max podium.
Was that a prediction or a hope?
Yes.
Okay. If it makes you feel any better, my next one was Max or McLaren don't win.
And that
And
was your bold prediction.
yeah, and that didn't happen.
Well, my bold prediction also didn't happen. My bold prediction was Lando wins and is crowned the champion.
Hmm. Uh, quick questions. Instead of doing predictions for this, like doing 3 predictions, you just want to do a prediction who wins the championship this week?
Yeah. Yeah. I Let's do it.
I honestly, my gut tells me Lando, my heart tells me Max. I'm gonna go Max.
I
I
mean, I'm going Lando.
Yeah, I think because yes, there's going to be stuff that happens throughout the race, but I think honestly, this might be this is going to be the story throughout the race.
Hmm.
Even if Lance Stroll somehow finishes P5 and Fernando P4, like it's not going to matter.
No, no, not at all. It oh geez, sorry.
No good.
I ah I I'm just nervous. That's all.
It's fine. Game 7, man. Game 7.
I okay, no. Okay, here's a question for you. If Max does win this, do you think this would have been his most earned championship?
Ooh.
Because you can make the argument for 2023 when he was extremely dominant and insane. But I think this is the one he's fought the hardest for.
Yeah.
Granted, the championship with Lewis, but this has been a three-way battle.
Yeah.
And if he wins this, this is just going to add to the Max lore, which he doesn't need more, but here we are.
Yeah, especially since even since winter testing, we didn't think this car would be that good for Red Bull.
No, I mean,
And,
it wasn't. Max is just Max.
yeah, and then it's just been getting better. And then they swapped teammates, and then they like, yeah, this would have to be his most earned win because you could argue 2021 he fought the whole season, everything.
Mhm.
Max has fought half a season. Like,
Yeah.
like that's really what it is. Instead of fighting all 24 races, he's fought like 12, and
Mhm.
he's fought back. Like this is equivalent of a boxing match that like the fighter just sits there and watches for like the first half.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not like Max was slouching at the beginning of the season either. He won Suzuka. He won whatever race happened before Suzuka, right? But either way. I Another question for you, Mr. Red Bull. If Max does win this, does this, and this is going to sound weird given what we know, does this solidify Max as a legend in Formula One? And I know it's really easy with recency bias to say he's already there. And yeah, he is. But legend, like mythological legend in Formula One, like Schumacher, Hamilton, does Max get to like that level? Senna.
I think yeah. I don't want to say he's yeah. I mean, I want to say yes because he's not that old. Like Max Verstappen's like fairly young, especially compared to me, who's in his
Mhm.
30s. But like Max Verstappen is 28 years old, and this would be his what fifth?
Yeah.
Like the guy has the record that's unbreakable, but for the youngest driver in Formula One history
Hmm.
to score a podium or points or something like that. But yeah, he's yeah. This has to solidify it because this would put him like what is Vettel have? He has 4, so this would tie him with Vettel for championships.
Hmm.
And we all look at Vettel as like this amazing driver, like who was just insane and amazing, which he was. But this puts Max with Vettel in like he's young. He can pump him out. Granted, next year new regulations,
Right.
but yes, I personally say this would put him. If we're going to rank these in like S tiers and everything, I would say he's like an A plus. He's almost there to an S, but he's give it another year, another championship or something. But yes, he's up there as one of the greatest drivers in this sport ever.
It's really annoying to be alive and being a fan of this sport during a time when there's never been a more dominant driver other than maybe Lewis. It's annoying in the fact that it's really cool that we're witnessing, and I said this about 2023 especially. We're witnessing history. It just sucks that it's at the expense of me.
Yeah, I get it. And yeah, I get it. Hmm, I don't know. I like I said, I'm okay with either outcome. Like I love the sport here.
Mhm.
So like yes, I like Max Verstappen, I like Red Bull. It's not my team. It'd be a lot different if my team was in there, which is never gonna happen because Marco. But like for me, I'm happy either way, and I can guarantee if Lando wins the championship this weekend, Max Verstappen will be so excited for his friend.
Mhm.
Like people forget they are friends. They hang out. They play video games during COVID. They were streaming together playing video games.
Max has even told Lando. I think it was after Max won his second championship, where Max looked at Lando and said, "I can't wait to congratulate you on yours." Max knows the kind of driver Lando is. He knows his skill and his ability. And I will be again. I don't hate Max. I'm annoyed by how good he is all the time, but that's just because he's a god.
Yeah, that's how I felt about like Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Didn't hate Tom Brady. He was just so good.
He's also a weirdo.
But like,
I know
yeah.
what you mean.
Uh,
It's really conflicting as a sports fan to have a driver that's that good, or player, whoever, somebody on your team who is that good, somebody in the sport who's that good but not on your team. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so normally this is the part of the show to wrap up where we would do our game called Grid Gamble, which of course we roll the formula dice.
mm-hmm.
Wherever it lands, we're randomly assigned a driver, 1 through 20, and we adopt them for the race, and wherever they finish is how many points that we get. Now, Lewis mathematically has lost
Oh, I'm not.
because
Oh.
last race he had Gabby who scored 0 points, and I had Carlos Sainz who scored 15 points because of the podium,
Mm.
bringing this total to 56-5. There's no possible way for you to come back.
Can I speak to the FIA? Maybe you get a penalty. You had your floorboards or two grounded down or something. I don't know.
So, in the very short time that we've started Grid Gamble, which was summer break basically,
Mm-hmm.
I've won. My question for you is, would you like to give Grid Gamble one more go just for funsies?
Yes, and I think
Or
it's yeah. I was gonna say because next because we're not gonna be able to do it next week because they're not gonna be unless
this is this is the final Grid Gamble until the 2026 season where it'll come back revamped and different because
exactly
I don't have a D22.
yeah
It doesn't exist.
exactly even for this new regulations. But
New regulations.
and real quick as we say goodbye to the Formula Dice one last time. We will have to say, don't forget, this weekend we say goodbye to the DRS.
That's right. I saw somewhere where Jensen Button asked if he could be the last person to hit the DRS button to just kind of bookend it because he was famously the first
Yes,
person to use DRS. It I We can talk about this more next week too as we're kind of wrapping up everything, but the DRS era, a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was magical.
yeah,
There was something really cool about the engineering behind all of it and the story of how it came to be, and I know the DRS trains and it made the racing not great in a lot of ways, but I think it also made the racing a lot of fun in a lot of ways too.
of course you would like it, mini DRS team.
It was legal. It was within the legal constraints.
Yeah. All right. I say what's one last time. Let's do the grid gamble, and I will go
Okay,
first.
you will go
I
first.
will let you be the last person to get it. The D20. Please be good for the last one.
Kimi Antonelli.
All right. I can't wait for him to DNF.
Oof.
Well, I
All
mean, just look
right.
at my luck. I've scored twice. Once was Gabby,
Uh huh.
4 points, and one was Isaac, 1 point. I think that was Baku.
Hey, you have pretty good luck with rookies, sorta. Eh. Okay. For the last time, grid gamble. What if it lands on Lando? That would be incredible.
I hope it lands on Max, so you win no matter what.
Oh, that was cocked. You know what? It's fair that it's gonna go out like this.
You get.
I'm going to let you see as I type it in.
Oh my goodness! I can't
I
wait for him to
roll
score a podium now because of you.
Liam Lawson, the final grid gamble of this regulation in the 2025 season is going to come down between Kimi Antonelli and Liam Lawson.
Yeah, I can't wait for that on some sports bar trivia. Which was the final grid gamble?
All right. Well, the only thing we can do now is not throw up before Sunday and just keep an eye on everything. And this time next week, I will be celebrating or sad while we do our season wrap up. And I, I don't have any words. The closer we get, the more speechless I become
and
about this whole situation.
like I said, as your friend, I am happy to be on this ride with you. And as your co-host, I'm happy to be on this ride with you.
The fact that it's coming down to the last race of the season on a three-way
Yeah,
battle.
you can't. This is a story. You can't write
This
this.
it really is. This is the reason I love Formula 1. We've talked about this before. My first season was 2021. I was in the Drive to Survive COVID crowd to get into the sport. And I watched all of 2021 from beginning to end. And that season is the reason why I'm a Formula 1 fan. That was arguably the most magical season of Formula 1.
So
I
far.
mean, so far. But that was coming at the end of the Lewis dominance era. That was the very beginning of the Max dominance era. It was a very special moment in history where the baton was passed, but it wasn't given up. And it came down to the very end. And regardless of if you agree with how that championship ended or not, because it did kind of end in a wet fart, it was still an incredible ride. Plus, Danny Rick got his last win in Formula One that season too in the McLaren. It was magical.
It
And
was.
2025 is not going to be as magical as 2021, but it's going to be magical in its own way. If Lando ends up winning, if he doesn't, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but it won't affect how I view 2025 as a whole because
Yeah.
it was incredible. It was just so good. By the way, the only drivers to win this season were Max, Oscar, Lando, and George.
Yeah. Mr.
Twice.
Consistent.
People forget about the two George wins.
Yeah. And this weekend, I hope for a good race. The one thing I do not hope for, I do hope for whatever. I don't want any drama. I don't want any last second yellows. I don't want any Michael Massey moments. I want it to be legitimately. If Max drives away with it like insane, so be it. If Lando drives away with it insane, so be it. I just don't want any unnecessary drama.
I want I feel the same way. I just at the end of the day, I just want it to be a race.
Yeah, I don't want Lando to win his first championship with the asterisk that Max has had to carry for a whole season.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel
And
like his asterisk went away once he won a second. But
yeah, and Lando, because of how people view him, that stain's never gonna wash out.
yeah.
I fear. I hope it does, but if it Okay. Well, that's been Formula Friday. I've been Nick. That's been Lewis. Tune in next week to see if I'm a wreck or well, I'll be a wreck either way, but see what kind of wreck I am.
You could be crying either way.
Uh-huh. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for joining us on this ride this season. We've got one more race to go, and we're going to stick around for the off season too. I know a lot of Formula One media tends to go away during the off season, but we have a lot of plans for the off season, and I can't wait to share those plans with you and to share those plans with Lewis and to just keep this going because I love Formula One so much and I love talking about Formula One. And honestly, this is my best outlet to talk about it. My fiance, I talk her ear off about Formula One all the time, and I'm glad that I also have you to talk about it
Yeah, my wife thinks you too because I'm the same way. I'll talk her ear off the whole time. I'm also the type of person that I have multiple screens going up during the race. I'm like, oh, somebody got a penalty, and then Crofty's like, oh, and so and so got a penalty. And it's like, I'm the type of person that talks during the race, and she doesn't like it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Bye.
with. Bye.